Hello, and welcome to part 2 of my 18-part Plaits video manual. This is Mr. Basic here. In my first video, I gave an overview of the global functions. In this video, I'll cover the first model on the top left, the player of classic waveforms. It's the green mode at the very top. You press the left button until you're at the top with the light. Now this gives us two waveforms, one controllable by the timbre knob, the other controllable by the morph knob. And the harmonics knob does one thing, and that controls our detuning between the two waveforms, or between the two oscillators. Now this is a virtual analog synthesis of two classic waveforms. The first one, controllable by the timbre knob, is a variable square. It goes from narrow pulse to full square to hard sync formants, and I'll demonstrate that. So the full square, with it straight up and down, go ahead and give you an arpeggio. Now, what I like to do, just in general with Plaits, especially with this mode, is take the envelope of Plaits and modify the attack a little bit, so it's not quite as punchy. And then what I can do here is show you how it goes all the way to the left. It goes into a narrow pulse, narrower, and that can be modified through this CV and this attenuator amount. Now, if this saw wave is anywhere but all the way to the right, if it's on, it's anywhere around here, anywhere but all the way to the right, then we have silence on the square wave. It goes all the way to silence. But once I go all the way to the right on this one, I can hear our narrow pulse. You notice that? So we can only turn off one of the waveforms at a time. We can't turn them both off to silence, but we can silence one for this one, which I'm doing right now. You can't hear the square. I mean, you can't hear the triangle to saw. Only this square wave. And so we're only working with one waveform, just this one. This is silenced right now. And so this detuning is not going to come into play yet. Now, if you go all the way to the right on this knob, you get a hard sync format between the two waveforms, which would be square and a triangle to saw over here. So you get some frequency modulation going on there. Kind of like a mixture. It's trying to be a mixture of two waveforms at the same time. And so now, on the other side of things, if we take this all the way to the narrow pulse, then we can work with this other thing over here. And on the morph knob, we've got a triangle wave, and that's the triangle wave. It's rather unassuming, very nice, beautiful, soft. But as we go up closer to the top here, we've got more of a sawtooth wave. And that's our sawtooth waveform. So it's triangle, variable to sawtooth wave, and then sawtooth wave with a little bit of a notch, an increasingly wider notch, an increasingly wider notch, and that's a pulse wave-like notch, until it squeezes the sawtooth wave all the way out. And what we're hearing now is actually this. And so, if we want it to be a full square that we're hearing without any of this, then that's what we've got. Or a hard sync format. And so, when we've got them both going on, I like to have a little bit of a between a triangle and a saw here on this one. We go a full square on that. Maybe a little bit into the narrow range. Now I can take this harmonics knob, and a little detuning goes a long way. That's too much for my taste. That adds some good bass, a little bit of flavor there. Does it not? I like it. Okay, now that we have demonstrated our detuning from our harmonics, why don't we go ahead and take care of this last thing here, which is to show you that this is our regular out, and the auxiliary out is the sum of two hard-synced waveforms. So it's always going to be the hard sync. And this is going to determine the positioning of that wave. And this, we've still got narrowing over here. These are going to work against each other. So you can do all sorts of things there to shape it. And without any detuning. That's a lot of hard syncing. Okay. Back to our regular. And when we've got the timbre knob all the way up, the morph knob all the way to the left, then what we've got is a regular square wave on one and a regular triangle wave on the other. A little bit of detuning. And there we have it. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.